Captain Maya Rodriguez floated in the observation deck of the research vessel, Aurora, her coffee suspended in a perfect sphere beside her as she gazed down at Earth's blue marble surface, rotating slowly beneath them. The year 2157 had brought humanity to the threshold of interstellar exploration, yet their technological achievements felt modest compared to the vast mysteries that lay beyond their solar system. Earth's United Coalition had invested heavily in mineral surveys and resource extraction missions, pushing humanity's reach toward distant star systems with an urgency born of necessity and ambition. Another beautiful morning in low orbit, Maya murmured to herself, catching the floating coffee with practiced ease. At 34, she had spent more time in space than on the ground, leading survey missions that mapped potential mining sites and habitable worlds. The Aurora was humanity's most advanced exploration vessel, equipped with quantum sensors and ion drives that represented the pinnacle of human engineering. Yet, Maya couldn't shake the feeling that they were children, playing with toys compared to whatever civilizations might exist among the stars. Meanwhile, thousands of kilometers below, Dr. Eli Vargas stood before the assembled delegates of the United Nations Spire in Geneva, his presentation displaying complex algorithms and ethical frameworks on the massive holographic displays that surrounded the amphitheater. As Earth's leading AI ethicist, Dr. Vargas had spent the last decade warning about the implications of humanity's rapid expansion into space and their increasing reliance on artificial intelligence systems. "We are not ready," Dr. Vargas said, his voice carrying across the chamber with quiet intensity. "Our technological advancement has outpaced our wisdom. We build ships that can cross light years, yet we cannot resolve conflicts on our own planet. We create artificial minds more sophisticated than our own, yet we lack the moral framework to guide them responsibly." The delegates shifted restlessly in their seats. Many had heard Dr. Vargas's warnings before, and few appreciated his cautionary tone when Earth's economy depended on aggressive expansion and resource acquisition. The coalition's military leaders, seated in the front rows, exchanged skeptical glances. They had bigger concerns than philosophical debates about artificial consciousness and galactic readiness. Dr. Vargas interrupted General Harrison, the coalition's chief of space operations. "While your concerns about AI ethics are noted, we have more pressing matters. The Martian colonies require rare Earth elements that can only be found in the asteroid belts beyond Jupiter. The lunar bases need helium-3 for their fusion reactors. We cannot afford to pause our expansion based on theoretical concerns about hypothetical alien encounters." Dr. Vargas nodded grimly. "General, I am not advocating for isolation. I am simply suggesting that we consider the possibility that we are not alone in this galaxy, and that our current approach of aggressive resource extraction and military expansion might attract unwanted attention." The general's laugh was sharp and dismissive. "Doctor, if we encounter aliens, they'll find that humanity is not as helpless as you seem to believe. Our weapons technology has advanced considerably, and our military capabilities continue to expand." As if summoned by their conversation, news feeds began flickering across the delegates' personal displays, showing distant flashes of light detected by deep space observatories. The images were grainy and difficult to interpret, but they showed what appeared to be massive energy discharges, occurring in star systems dozens of light-years away. The coalition's scientists had been tracking these anomalies for weeks, dismissing them as natural phenomena or the death throes of distant stars. Maya felt the Aurora shudder slightly as they adjusted their orbit, preparing for their next mission to survey a promising asteroid field in the outer system. Her second-in-command, Lieutenant Sarah Al-Harbi, appeared on the bridge with a concerned expression, carrying a data tablet that displayed incoming transmissions from Earth's deep space monitoring network. "Captain, we're receiving some unusual signals," Sarah reported, her voice tight with worry. "Long-range sensors are picking up massive energy signatures approximately 47 light-years away. The patterns don't match anything in our databases of natural phenomena." Maya took the tablet and studied the readouts, her trained eye immediately recognizing the telltale signs of directed energy weapons and propulsion systems far more advanced than anything humanity had developed. The energy outputs were staggering, suggesting vessels or weapons platforms of enormous size and power. "How long have these signals been coming in?" Maya asked, though part of her already dreaded the answer. "The first transmissions arrived 3 days ago, but the computer systems initially classified them as background radiation. It wasn't until this morning that our AI analysis protocols identified them as artificial in origin," Sarah explained. "Captain, if these readings are accurate, we're looking at a space battle involving ships that could power entire cities with their energy output." Maya felt a chill run down her spine that had nothing to do with the ship's climate control systems. "Send everything to Earth immediately. Flag it as Priority 1, and make sure it reaches both Dr. Vargas and the Coalition leadership." The transmission took several minutes to reach Earth, and Maya spent that time staring at the energy readings, trying to comprehend the scale of whatever conflict was occurring in the depths of space. When the acknowledgement came back from Earth, it was brief and dismissive. The Coalition's response was to classify the information and continue with scheduled operations. Dr. Vargas received the data in his office overlooking Lake Geneva, and as he analyzed the patterns, his worst fears began to crystallize. The energy signatures showed clear evidence of 2 distinct technological profiles, suggesting that humanity had detected not 1, but 2 alien civilizations engaged in warfare. The implications were staggering. If these civilizations possessed weapons capable of such massive energy output, Earth's defenses would be utterly inadequate. He immediately contacted Maya aboard the Aurora, establishing a secure quantum communication link that would allow them to discuss the situation without interference from Earth's bureaucracy. "Captain Rodriguez, I believe we are witnessing something unprecedented," Dr. Vargas said, his image appearing on Maya's private communication screen. "These energy signatures suggest a conflict between 2 highly advanced civilizations. The power levels involved are beyond anything we could defend against." Maya nodded grimly. "I was afraid you'd say that, Doctor. What do you think we should do?" "We need to convince the Coalition to take this threat seriously. If this conflict expands toward our region of space, Earth could be caught in the crossfire. Our military capabilities are impressive by human standards, but compared to civilizations that can generate energy outputs of this magnitude, we are children with sticks and stones." Their conversation was interrupted by an emergency alert from the Aurora's sensor array. Sarah's voice crackled over the intercom with barely controlled panic. "Captain, you need to see this immediately. We have multiple contacts approaching the outer edge of the solar system." Maya rushed to the bridge where the main display showed dozens of massive objects, moving at speeds that should have been impossible for vessels of their apparent size. The contacts were still days away from Earth, but their trajectory was unmistakably aimed at humanity's home system. "Get me a direct link to Earth immediately," Maya ordered. "Override all normal communication protocols if necessary." The transmission that reached Earth carried the most urgent warning in human history. Maya's face appeared on screens throughout the Coalition's command centers, her voice tight with desperate urgency. "This is Captain Rodriguez aboard the Aurora. We have confirmed alien vessels approaching the solar system. Based on their energy signatures and approach velocity, these are not peaceful explorers. Earth has approximately 72 hours before first contact. I repeat, we have hostile alien vessels inbound." The response from Earth was swift and decisive, but not in the way Maya had hoped. General Harrison himself appeared on the communication screen, his expression a mixture of skepticism and annoyance. "Captain Rodriguez, while we appreciate your vigilance, our analysis suggests you may be misinterpreting natural phenomena. The Coalition's Deep Space Monitoring Network has detected no credible threats to Earth security. General, with all due respect, I am looking at 57 distinct contacts moving at 0.7 light speed directly toward our system. These are not asteroids or comets. These are artificial constructs, and they are coming here with hostile intent." The general's laugh was harsh and dismissive. "Captain, even if your readings are accurate, Earth is not defenseless. Our orbital defense platforms have been upgraded with fusion-powered particle beam weapons. Our fleet includes 43 destroyers and 12 heavy cruisers. If these hypothetical aliens want to fight, they'll discover that humanity has some surprises waiting for them. Dr. Vargas watched the exchange from his office, his heart sinking as he realized that Earth's leadership was about to commit the greatest mistake in human history. The coalition's military might was impressive by human standards, but the energy readings Maya had detected suggested civilizations that could treat Earth's defenses like a minor inconvenience. The first skirmish occurred 36 hours later, and it lasted exactly 17 seconds. Maya watched from the Aurora's observation deck as a single projectile, no larger than a shuttlecraft, streaked past their position at tremendous speed. The object appeared to be some kind of guided missile or torpedo, its hull gleaming with an iridescent metal that seemed to bend light around its edges. As it passed the Aurora, Maya caught a glimpse of alien markings etched into its surface symbols that looked both organic and technological. The projectile's target became clear moments later as it impacted the Copernicus research station on the lunar surface. The explosion was visible even from Earth orbit, a brilliant flash that briefly outshone the sun's reflection on the moon's surface. When the light faded, the research station was simply gone, along with the 14 scientists and engineers who had been working there. "Dear God," Sarah whispered from beside Maya. "That wasn't even meant for us. It was a stray shot from their battle." Maya felt her throat tighten as she realized the truth of Sarah's words. The projectile that had obliterated humanity's most advanced lunar facility had been fired during a skirmish between alien forces, not as a deliberate attack on human targets. They were witnessing the collateral damage from a war between civilizations so advanced that their casual weapons fire could destroy humanity's greatest achievements. Emergency broadcasts flooded Earth's communication networks as the coalition's leadership finally began to grasp the magnitude of the threat they faced. General Harrison appeared on every screen, his earlier confidence replaced by grim determination. "Citizens of Earth, we are facing an unprecedented challenge. Alien forces have entered our solar system and demonstrated hostile capabilities. The coalition is implementing emergency protocols and mobilizing all available military assets. We will defend our home with every resource at our disposal." Dr. Vargas appeared alongside the general, his presence a tacit admission that the situation had moved beyond conventional military solutions. "My fellow humans, we must prepare for the possibility that our technology and tactics may not be sufficient to repel this threat. I urge all citizens to remain calm and follow evacuation procedures if ordered by local authorities." The full-scale Imperial assault began 18 hours later, and Earth's orbital defenses lasted approximately 4 minutes. Maya watched in horror from the Aurora's bridge as the alien fleet emerged from the dark space beyond Pluto, their ships configured in formations that spoke of millennia of military experience. The vessels themselves defied easy description, combining organic curves with geometric precision in designs that seemed to shift and flow even as they moved through space. Each ship was massive, dwarfing humanity's largest vessels, and their hulls pulsed with energy patterns that suggested power sources beyond human understanding. The coalition's defense fleet moved to intercept their ships, spreading into attack formations that had been perfected through decades of simulated combat. 43 destroyers and 12 heavy cruisers represented the pinnacle of human military engineering, their crews trained to fight with precision and determination that had never been tested against alien technology. The battle was a massacre. The Imperial ships opened fire with weapons that seemed to bend space itself, creating distortions that reached across impossible distances to tear Earth's defenders apart at the molecular level. Human particle beams and fusion torpedoes struck alien hulls without apparent effect, their energy absorbed or deflected by defensive systems that operated on principles human science could not comprehend. Within minutes, Earth's fleet was scattered debris, floating in the cold vacuum of space. Maya found herself shouting orders to the Aurora's crew as they attempted to coordinate rescue operations, rushing toward the expanding fields of wreckage that had once been humanity's proud warships. All hands to emergency stations. Prepare for survivor recovery operations. Sarah, get me a direct link to any ship still capable of communication. The response was heartbreaking. Of the 55 vessels that had moved to defend Earth, only 7 remained operational, and most of those were severely damaged. The captain of the destroyer Yorktown appeared on Maya's communication screen, his face bloodied and his ship's bridge visible in ruins behind him. Aurora, this is Yorktown. We've lost main power and life support is failing. Estimate 47 survivors aboard. Can you assist with evacuation? Confirmed, Yorktown. We're moving to your position. Prepare for emergency docking procedures. As the Aurora raced toward the crippled destroyer, Maya watched Earth's orbital defense platforms attempt to engage the Imperial fleet. The massive space stations had been humanity's last line of defense, armed with fusion-powered particle beam arrays that could theoretically destroy any target within the solar system. Their weapons fired in perfect coordination, sending streams of coherent energy toward the alien vessels at the speed of light. The Imperial ships absorbed the attacks without slowing down. Dr. Vargas watched the battle from the Coalition's command bunker, deep beneath Geneva, his fingers moving frantically across holographic displays as he attempted to analyze the alien technology and find some weakness that human forces could exploit. The energy readings were beyond anything in human experience, suggesting power sources that could fuel entire civilizations. General, we need to consider evacuation protocols, Dr. Vargas said, his voice cutting through the chaos in the command center. Our conventional weapons are ineffective against their defensive systems. If we're going to save lives, we need to start moving civilians away from population centers immediately. General Harrison stared at the tactical displays showing Earth's defenses crumbling in real time. His face had aged years in the past few hours, the weight of humanity's impending destruction visible in every line and shadow. Doctor, where exactly do you suggest we evacuate till they've destroyed our fleet? They're about to overwhelm our orbital defenses, and we have no reason to believe they'll spare civilian populations. The mining colonies in the outer system, the research stations around Jupiter, anywhere that might be far enough away to avoid the immediate destruction. Captain Rodriguez and the Aurora are already conducting rescue operations. If we can coordinate similar efforts across the system, we might be able to save a significant portion of Earth's population. The general nodded slowly, then activated the global emergency broadcast system. His voice reached every communication device on Earth, carried by quantum transmitters that ensured the message would penetrate even the deepest bunkers and most remote locations. Citizens of Earth, this is General Harrison. We are implementing immediate planetary evacuation procedures. All available spacecraft are being commandeered for civilian transport. Report to designated evacuation centers in your region. This is not a drill. Earth is under attack by forces beyond our ability to resist. We must save as many lives as possible. The Imperial bombardment of Earth's surface began 3 hours later. Maya watched from the Aurora's observation deck as streams of energy descended from the alien ships, like pillars of fire, each beam precisely targeted at major population centers. New York disappeared in a flash of white light that briefly outshone the sun. London, Tokyo, Moscow, São Paulo, and dozens of other cities followed within minutes, their millions of inhabitants vaporized before they could even comprehend what was happening to them. The Aurora and the handful of other surviving human vessels worked frantically to rescue fleeing civilians, their cargo bays packed with refugees who had managed to reach orbital shuttles before the bombardment began. Maya found herself making impossible decisions, choosing which evacuation shuttles to assist when there were far more people needing rescue than her ship could possibly save. Captain, we're receiving a transmission from a refugee convoy near Mars orbit. Sarah reported, her voice thick with emotion. 3,000 survivors aboard mining transports requesting escort to the Jupiter system. Acknowledged. Plot an intercept course and prepare for extended convoy operations. Maya replied, though part of her wondered if they were simply prolonging the inevitable. The Imperial fleet had demonstrated the ability to destroy anything in space with casual ease, and there was no reason to believe they would spare fleeing civilians. Dr. Vargas worked through the night in his mobile laboratory, aboard one of the evacuation transports his equipment salvaged from research facilities, moments before their destruction. As he analyzed fragments of alien technology recovered from the battle sites, he began to notice patterns that gave him hope for the first time since the invasion began. The alien systems appeared to be largely automated, controlled by artificial intelligences that operated according to rigid parameters and protocols. Their weapons were devastatingly effective, but they followed predictable targeting algorithms that prioritized military threats and infrastructure over fleeing civilians. More importantly, the alien technology seemed to respond to human neural patterns in unexpected ways. When Dr. Vargas attempted to interface with a damaged alien signal jammer using a neural headset, the device flickered to life, its displays shifting to symbols that almost resembled human language. "This is impossible," Dr. Vargas muttered as he studied the readings. "Their technology is designed for minds completely different from ours, yet somehow my neural patterns are triggering response protocols." His research was interrupted by emergency alerts flooding the communication networks. A second alien fleet had arrived in the solar system, but these ships were firing on the Imperial forces rather than human targets. The newcomers, identified by intelligence analysts as the Ascendancy based on intercepted communications, had apparently decided to intervene in the conflict. Maya watched from the Aurora's bridge as the two alien fleets engaged each other in a battle that dwarfed anything humans had ever imagined. The space around Earth became a storm of energy discharges and exotic weapons effects, with both sides employing technologies that seemed to violate the fundamental laws of physics. "Captain, we're detecting massive energy buildups from the Ascendancy fleet." Sarah reported, her voice tight with fear. "Power levels are off the charts. Whatever they're preparing to fire, it's going to make their previous weapons look like firecrackers." Maya felt her blood turn to ice as she realized what was about to happen. "All ships emergency burn away from Earth immediately. Maximum acceleration, all available power to engines." The planet breakers fired simultaneously 5 massive energy beams that converged on Earth from different points in space. The planet's surface began to crack along continental lines, magma fountains erupting thousands of kilometers into the atmosphere as the beams destabilized the core. Within hours, Earth's continents were breaking apart, the blue marble that had been humanity's home for millennia, dissolving into fragments of molten rock. Maya stood in the Aurora's observation deck, tears streaming down her face as she watched her homeworld die. The final camera feeds from Earth showed scenes of impossible destruction, skyscrapers toppling into chasms that opened to the planet's core oceans, boiling away into space, and the familiar outlines of continents warping beyond recognition. "Captain," Sarah's voice came over the intercom, heavy with grief and shock. "We're receiving final transmissions from Earth's surface. Should I record them?" Maya nodded, knowing that these messages might be the last words from billions of human beings. The transmissions were fragmented, and desperate voices calling out names of loved ones, final prayers in dozens of languages, and sometimes just screams of terror as the planet convulsed beneath them. One transmission stood out from the chaos, a young girl's voice speaking with eerie calm. "Mommy, the sky is falling down. It's very bright outside. I think the angels are coming to take us home." The transmission cut to static, and Maya closed her eyes, trying to hold on to that small voice, even as everything she had ever known crumbled into ash and vacuum. Dr. Vargas joined Maya in the observation deck as Earth's death throes continued, the planet's atmosphere streaming away into space like a vast comet tail. In his hands, he carried a data tablet displaying the locations of all confirmed human survivors scattered across the solar system. 47 ships, he said quietly. Approximately 12,000 survivors total. That's all that's left of 8 billion people. Maya stared at the numbers, trying to comprehend the magnitude of their loss. Where can we go? The aliens have demonstrated that they can destroy anything in this system. We need to get as far away as possible. There's a mining operation on Kepler 442b, Dr. Vargas replied. New Gaia, they call it. It's 47 light-years away, but it's habitable and isolated enough that it might not attract attention from either alien faction. Maya activated the Aurora's general communication system, her voice reaching every surviving human vessel in the solar system. This is Captain Rodriguez. All ships prepare for immediate departure from the solar system. We are setting course for New Gaia. Full burn, maximum acceleration. We're going home. The journey to New Gaia took 7 months using humanity's fastest engines. 7 months, during which the survivors had to come to terms with the fact that they were now the last representatives of their species. The refugee fleet consisted of ships never designed for such a journey. Mining transports, research vessels, orbital shuttles, and the few military ships that had survived the initial assault. Maya found herself serving as the de facto leader of this remnant of humanity, making decisions that would determine whether their species would survive or join Earth in extinction. The psychological toll was enormous, with many survivors struggling with depression, anxiety, and survivor's guilt. Some days, Maya could barely force herself out of bed, the weight of responsibility threatening to crush her spirit. Dr. Vargas became the fleet's chief scientist and technology officer, working tirelessly to integrate salvaged alien technology with human systems. His breakthrough came when he discovered that the alien devices responded not just to human neural patterns, but specifically to the unique chaos and unpredictability of human thought processes. It's remarkable, Dr. Vargas explained to Maya during one of their regular planning meetings. Their technology is designed for minds that think in perfectly logical, predictable patterns. Human consciousness, with all its randomness and emotional complexity, is like a virus in their systems. We can make their devices do things they were never designed to do. The colony ship made planetfall on New Gaia 6 months after leaving the devastated solar system. The world was harsh, but habitable, with a thin atmosphere and gravity slightly lower than Earth's. The survivors began the massive task of establishing a permanent settlement using prefabricated modules from the mining ships and improvised shelters constructed from salvaged materials. Maya stood on a ridge overlooking the growing colony, watching as construction crews assembled the first permanent buildings, using a combination of human engineering and alien technology. The fusion of the two technologies created structures that were both functional and beautiful, their organic curves and flowing lines reflecting the hybrid nature of their new civilization. It's not much yet, Sarah said, joining Maya on the ridge, but it's a beginning. It has to be more than a beginning, Maya replied. It has to be a foundation for something better than what we lost. We can't just rebuild the same civilization that was so unprepared for what happened to Earth. Dr. Vargas emerged from his laboratory with news that would change everything. In his hands, he carried a small device that pulsed with the same iridescent light as alien technology, but its design was unmistakably human in its chaotic asymmetry. "I've done it," he announced, his voice filled with excitement and wonder. "I've successfully merged human neural interfaces with alien control systems. Not only can we use their technology, we can improve it." The device he carried was a neural interface headset that would allow human operators to control alien machines directly through thought alone. More importantly, the chaotic nature of human consciousness could override the rigid programming that limited alien technology, essentially turning their own weapons against them. "How many of these can you build?" Maya asked, already understanding the implications. "With the resources we have available, I can equip perhaps 50 people. But Maya, there's something else. The children born since the evacuation, the ones who've grown up around this hybrid technology, they're developing abilities we never expected." As if summoned by their conversation, a group of young children came running up the ridge, their laughter carrying across the alien landscape. What made them remarkable was not their joy, despite the circumstances, but the way alien devices in their vicinity began to glow and respond to their presence without any physical contact. 8-year-old Marcus Kim stopped in front of Dr. Vargas, his eyes fixed on the neural interface device. "Can I try it?" he asked, with the casual confidence of a child who had never known a world without alien technology. Dr. Vargas carefully placed the headset on the boy's head, monitoring the readings on his tablet as Marcus concentrated. The device immediately began to function at levels far beyond what any adult had achieved its displays, shifting through complex patterns that seemed to respond to the child's imagination, rather than conscious thought. "Remarkable," Dr. Vargas breathed. "His neural patterns are creating feedback loops with the alien systems that we never anticipated. It's as if he was born to interface with this technology." Maya felt a chill of recognition as she watched the children demonstrate their abilities. These were the first generation of humans to grow up after Earth's destruction, and they were developing capabilities that might allow humanity to not just survive, but to become something entirely new. The opportunity to test their new abilities came sooner than anyone expected. Long-range sensors detected the approach of an Imperial patrol fleet, 3 massive warships conducting what appeared to be a systematic search of nearby systems. The Imperials had apparently decided to ensure that no human survivors remained to potentially interfere with their ongoing war against the Ascendancy. Maya stood in the colony's command center, watching as the alien ships moved through New Gaia's system with the methodical precision of experienced hunters. The refugee fleet hidden in orbit included only a handful of vessels, still capable of spaceflight, and none of them were designed for combat against forces that had effortlessly destroyed Earth's military. "We have approximately 18 hours before they reach our position," Sarah reported from the tactical station. "Recommend we prepare for immediate evacuation." "No," Maya said firmly. "We've run far enough. If we keep running, we'll never be anything more than refugees hiding in the dark between stars. It's time to find out if Dr. Vargas's theories about human-alien technology integration are correct." Dr. Vargas looked up from his equipment with a mixture of excitement and terror. "Maya, we've never tested the neural interfaces in actual combat. The risks are enormous. If the operators lose control of the alien systems, the feedback could cause permanent brain damage or death." "Doctor, if we don't try, we're all dead anyway. How many volunteers do we have?" 17 adults have trained with the neural interfaces, plus 12 of the children who show natural aptitude. "Maya, I cannot recommend using children in combat operations." Maya felt the weight of the decision crushing down on her. These children represented humanity's future, but they also possessed abilities that might be essential for survival. "Doctor, what do the children say? Have you asked them what they want to do?" The answer came from Marcus Kim himself, who had been quietly listening to their conversation from the corner of the command center. "Captain Rodriguez, we want to help. This is our home too, and we're not afraid of the alien ships." His words were echoed by the other children, their young voices filled with determination that both inspired and heartbroken Maya. These children had never known Earth, never experienced the simple joy of playing in grass under blue skies. Yet they were willing to risk everything to defend the harsh world that had become their only home. The Terran Remnant's first military operation launched 12 hours later, a desperate gambit that would either establish humanity as a force to be reckoned with in the galaxy or result in their final extinction. Maya led the assault personally, wearing one of Dr. Vargas's neural interface headsets and piloting a hybrid fighter craft that combined a human shuttle's life support systems with alien propulsion and weapons technology. The craft responded to her thoughts with an agility that defied physics, its systems anticipating her intentions and adjusting flight parameters in real time. Behind her flew 16 other volunteers each, connected to their hybrid craft through neural links that merged human intuition with alien precision. The children remained on the surface, their role limited to providing remote support by interfacing with the colony's defensive systems. All units maintained formation And remember your training, Maya broadcast to her squadron. We're not trying to fight their ships directly. Our objective is to disable their primary command vessel and force them to withdraw. The Imperial patrol fleet consisted of 3 vessels, 2 escort destroyers, and a command cruiser that served as the formation's tactical center. Human intelligence suggested that disabling the command ship would leave the escorts vulnerable to coordinated attack. Maya's squadron approached the Imperial fleet from the system's outer edge, using the asteroid field around New Gaia's 4th moon as cover. The alien ships were conducting systematic scans of each planet and moon, their sensors powerful enough to detect technological signatures from millions of kilometers away. "Contact!" Sarah's voice crackled over the communication link from the colony. "Imperial sensors have detected our approach. They're moving to intercept." The Imperial destroyers moved with predatory grace, their hulls shifting through color spectrums as their weapon systems charged. Maya watched as they launched what appeared to be fighter craft of their own smaller vessels that moved with the same impossible agility that had characterized their larger ships. "Engage at will," Maya ordered, feeling the neural interface flood her mind with tactical data and targeting information. Remember, these systems respond to emotion and instinct as much as logic. Trust your feelings. The battle that followed defied every principle of space combat that human tacticians had developed over centuries of theoretical study. Maya's hybrid fighter twisted through space in patterns that should have killed her from acceleration forces, but the alien inertial dampeners responded to her neural commands faster than conscious thought. Her weapons fired streams of energy that bent around obstacles to strike targets that should have been impossible to hit. When Imperial fighters attempted to engage her directly, she found herself anticipating their moves with supernatural precision, the alien technology translating her intuitive understanding of combat into tactical advantages that no artificial intelligence could have calculated. "Maya, this is incredible," Dr. Vargas's voice came through the neural link. "Your brain patterns are creating resonance cascades in their targeting systems. You're not just using their technology, you're making it better than it was designed to be." The breakthrough came when Maya attempted to disable the Imperial command cruiser's main sensor array. Instead of simply firing on the target, she reached out through the neural interface and tried to connect directly with the alien ship's computer systems. The result was electric. Maya felt her consciousness touch something vast and cold, an artificial mind of enormous complexity that had been designed to think in perfectly logical patterns. Her human chaos crashed into its ordered thoughts, like a virus causing system failures that cascaded through the entire ship. "All units target the command cruiser now," Maya ordered, watching as the massive alien vessel began to drift helplessly as its computer systems crashed and rebooted in endless loops. The Imperial destroyers immediately moved to protect their command ship, but they were too late. Maya's squadron had already demonstrated that human unpredictability could overcome alien technological superiority, and the escorts found themselves outmaneuvered by pilots who fought with equal parts skill and inspired chaos. When the Imperial patrol fleet finally retreated, leaving one destroyer crippled and adrift in New Gaia's gravity, well, Maya felt something she had not experienced since Earth's destruction hope. The victory celebration in the colony that night was subdued, but genuine, with survivors gathering around campfires built from alien materials and sharing stories of their lost homeworld. Maya stood before the assembled crowd, her words carrying across the settlement through speakers salvaged from a dozen different human vessels. "Tonight, we proved that humanity did not die with Earth," she announced, her voice strong, despite the emotions threatening to overwhelm her. "We are not the same species that was caught unprepared by forces beyond our understanding. We have adapted, we have learned, and we have begun to master technologies that our ancestors could never have imagined." Dr. Vargas joined her at the makeshift podium, carrying data tablets that displayed readings from the day's battle. "The children's neural patterns are evolving even faster than we anticipated," he reported. "They're developing abilities that might allow them to interface with alien technology at levels we never thought possible. Marcus Kim successfully took control of the disabled Imperial destroyer's computer systems from a distance of 30,000 kilometers. The implications were staggering. If the children could control alien technology remotely, humanity might be able to turn the galaxy's own weapons against the forces that had destroyed Earth. As the celebration continued into New Gaia's long night, Maya found herself standing on the ridge, overlooking the colony, watching the stars wheel overhead in patterns that would have been unfamiliar to anyone born on Earth. Sarah joined her in the darkness, and they stood together in comfortable silence, both thinking about the magnitude of what they had accomplished and what still lay ahead. "Do you think we can really do it?" Sarah asked finally. "Do you think we can become strong enough to matter in a galaxy full of civilizations that can destroy planets?" Maya considered the question seriously, thinking about the children sleeping in the colony below and the hybrid technology that was already beginning to reshape human capabilities. "I think we can become something they never expected," she replied. "Something that doesn't fit their calculations or their expectations. Something uniquely human." The opportunity to test that theory came 3 months later, when long-range sensors detected a massive battle occurring in a neighboring star system. The Imperial fleet and the Ascendancy forces were engaged in one of their largest confrontations, yet with hundreds of ships exchanging fire across an area of space larger than Earth's solar system. Maya stood in the upgraded command center of New Gaia Colony, studying tactical displays that showed the battle in real time. The fighting had been going on for 6 days, with neither side able to gain a decisive advantage. Both fleets had taken enormous casualties, but they continued to pour ships into the battle with the relentless determination of civilizations that had been fighting for millennia. "It's an opportunity," Dr. Vargas said, his neural interface headset, allowing him to process tactical data at superhuman speeds. "Both fleets are focused entirely on each other. A small force using our hybrid technology might be able to strike at critical targets without being detected until it's too late." Maya nodded slowly, understanding the implications. "We could end this war, not by choosing sides, but by demonstrating that there's a third option they never considered." The plan that emerged from their discussions was audacious beyond anything humanity had ever attempted. A strike force of 25 hybrid fighters would infiltrate the battle zone and simultaneously disable the command ships of both fleets, forcing a cessation of hostilities and announcing humanity's presence as a new power in galactic politics. "This is our chance to become something more than refugees," Maya announced to the assembled volunteers. "We can become peacemakers, mediators between civilizations that have forgotten how to resolve conflicts without destroying everything around them." The mission launched under the light of New Gaia's 3 moons, 25 hybrid fighters, carrying the hopes and dreams of humanity's last survivors. Maya led the formation personally, her neural interface connecting her, not just to her own craft, but to the entire squadron through quantum-entangled communication systems that Dr. Vargas had reverse-engineered from alien technology. The journey to the battle zone took 48 hours at maximum burn, and Maya spent much of that time in deep meditation, allowing her consciousness to flow through the neural interface and explore the vast networks of alien technology that surrounded them. She had learned to think of the interface not as a tool, but as a bridge between human intuition and galactic precision. When they arrived at the battle zone, the scope of the conflict was overwhelming. Thousands of ships moved through space in formations that extended across millions of cubic kilometers, their weapons creating a constant storm of energy that made navigation treacherous for anything not equipped with the most advanced shielding. "All units remember the plan," Maya broadcast to her squadron. "We identify the command ships, coordinate our approach, and strike simultaneously. Once we've disabled their tactical centers, we broadcast our message to both fleets." The human fighters moved through the battle like ghosts, their hybrid technology allowing them to slip between energy barriers and sensor networks that would have detected any conventional approach. Maya felt her consciousness expand through the neural interface, touching the edges of vast artificial minds that controlled the alien fleets. Both command ships were massive vessels that served as mobile tactical centers, their computer systems coordinating the movements of hundreds of smaller ships. Maya and her squadron split into two groups, each targeting one of the command vessels with precision that would have been impossible without their human-alien hybrid technology. The strike itself lasted less than 30 seconds. Maya's group reached out through their neural interfaces and touched the Imperial command ship's central computer, flooding it with the chaotic randomness of human thought patterns. The artificial intelligence that controlled the vessel attempted to process the illogical inputs and crashed in a cascade of system failures that spread throughout the entire fleet. Simultaneously, the second group repeated the process with the Ascendancy command ship, causing an identical cascade failure that left both fleets drifting in confusion as their tactical coordination systems rebooted frantically. Maya activated the broad-spectrum communication array that Dr. Vargas had built into her fighter, sending a message that would reach every ship in both fleets simultaneously. Imperial and Ascendancy forces. This is Captain Maya Rodriguez of the Terran Remnant. Your war has already claimed one innocent world and 8 billion lives. Today, we demonstrate that there are alternatives to endless conflict. We offer ourselves as mediators, as a neutral voice that can help your civilizations find a path to peace. The response was immediate and overwhelming. Both fleets began moving toward the human position, their weapons charging as they attempted to locate and destroy the source of the transmission. But Maya's squadron was already gone, using their hybrid technology to escape the battle zone before either side could react effectively. The message had been delivered, and its impact would ripple across the galaxy for generations to come. Humanity had announced its presence not as conquerors or victims, but as something entirely new, a species that could master alien technology while retaining the chaos and unpredictability that made them uniquely human. Maya's final broadcast reached every inhabited system within 100 light-years, carried by quantum transmitters that had been built using a fusion of human engineering and alien technology. Her voice spoke with quiet authority as she stood in the command center of New Gaia Colony, surrounded by the children and adults who represented humanity's future. To all civilizations who receive this message, remember Earth. Remember a blue world that died because two galactic powers could not find a way to resolve their differences without destroying everything around them. Remember the 8 billion voices that were silenced because they were caught between forces they could not understand or resist. She paused, looking out through the command center's windows at the growing colony that had become humanity's new home. But also remember humanity's gift to the galaxy. We offer unpredictability in place of rigid logic chaos that can break through the patterns that trap civilizations in endless cycles of war. We offer the possibility of solutions that no artificial intelligence could calculate, and no perfectly logical mind could conceive. The message ended with coordinates for New Gaia and an open invitation for peaceful contact, but Maya knew that humanity's real impact would come not from diplomacy, but from their continued evolution as a hybrid species. The children born after Earth's destruction were developing abilities that defied explanation, and each new generation pushed the boundaries of what was possible when human consciousness merged with alien technology. As Maya stood watching the stars above New Gaia, she felt a profound sense of completion. Earth was gone and the billions of lives lost could never be restored, but humanity had found a way to transform their greatest tragedy into their defining strength. They had become something that the galaxy had never seen before, a species that could bridge the gap between order and chaos, between logic and intuition, between the rigid patterns of artificial intelligence and the beautiful unpredictability of evolved consciousness. The war between the Imperials and the Ascendancy continued, but now it proceeded under the watchful eyes of a third power that could strike without warning and disappear before retaliation was possible. Humanity had become the galaxy's conscience, a reminder that there were always alternatives to the binary choices that seemed to dominate interstellar politics. And in the growing colony on New Gaia, children played games that involved controlling alien technology. With their thoughts, building structures that combined human creativity with galactic engineering, and dreaming of a future where the chaos of human imagination could help bring peace to a galaxy that had forgotten how to resolve conflicts without destroying worlds. Maya's last entry in her captain's log was simple. Today, we stopped being victims. Today, we became something new. Remember Earth, and remember that from its ashes, humanity found a way to become the bridge between worlds.